Yeah, as you can see, I am alone today. After Hours has very quickly turned into a game night show, and I fucking love that. That's super good. But I found something special, and it's a single player experience, and I want to show you all this cool single player experience. As you've probably known, I've covered a game called They Hunger a couple of times, and fun fact, before After Hours turned into a game night show, we had these game nights and we used to play, and we actually played through all of the original They Hunger Trilogy. They Hunger Trilogy is such a fucking interesting game because it was made by a company called Black Widow Games. And I'm just gonna blaze through this. I'm gonna explain this more in depth. They were developing a game called They Hunger Lost Souls for the Source engine, and it got cancelled quietly in around 2008-2009. They showed up a couple of demos to the press at some point because mods used to be a really big deal. And the cool thing is that a couple of those demos over the years have leaked, and a team of Russians have taken it upon themselves to actually put demos together and recreate as much of They Hunger Lost Souls as they can. And this is what we're playing. We're playing the rebuild of They Hunger Lost Souls. And I think that I will play it, and that I would use the opportunity to tell you about Black Widow Games. Because the cool thing about Black Widow Games is that they started in, I think, 1997. And they were a company that made promotional mods to tie in with TV shows and other games and all that jazz. They got their start in 1997 producing a mod for a TV show called Covert Special Ops, and sometimes called Soldier of Fortune. And they actually produced, I believe, 4 mods in total for them, which are tie-ins to the show. And the funny thing is that those mods were being produced as the show was running, because it was a late 90s show. And I remember actually watching the show, and I remember something vaguely about seeing some promotional time material, but it was one of those kid memories where you just look at a thing and you're like, oh yeah, that's a video game. And then as you grow older, you're like, oh hey, what was that video game? That's not like a video game I have ever seen. And about 20 years later, I found out that it was it was a game that Black Widow Games made. They would then enter a collaboration with PC Gaming Magazine, which is sort of how they became famous. They would enter a collaboration with them, and then they would make a comedy game about a military monkey. And that was apparently also a really big hit, because they made, I think, 4 of those as well. And all of these mods are made on the Quake 2 engine, because Half-Life hasn't come out yet. It's 1997. But then Half-Life comes out, and that's when they start collaborating with PC Gaming Magazine. And then also CNET, which is they make programs, right? The first mod they make is a mod called USS Darkstar, which is from that era of Half-Life mods where people were sure that the follow-up to Half-Life would be Gordon Freeman and the Black Mesa or whatever going on further adventures. The USS Darkstar, which I've also covered in the video, takes place aboard a spaceship, and then some bad things happen on the spaceship. Look at this. This is pretty cool. And yeah, it's just another Half-Life adventure, right? It's good. It's nothing special, but it's pretty good, and it was made in 5 months. And that's when Black Widow Games, they start making Half-Life mods. And the sort of way the company operated was that there was a core team of people who I assumed would get paid, and then there were a bunch of other contributors who I think were just doing it for exposure, or maybe they got paid to license some of their stuff, because a lot of the stuff that you're gonna see in USS Darkstar isn't just from Half-Life. It's also from a bunch of other mods, because the nature of modding back then was that you didn't really need to ask permission to use people's stuff. You just kind of used it. There was this very I don't know, open source vibe to the whole thing. So a lot of the people you can see credited in a lot of Black Widow games is mods. They maybe weren't really super part of the team or anything like that. They were just people who made assets, and Black Widow, they used those assets. So after USS Darkstar, after USS Darkstar, they make They Hunger, and it is released on a PC gaming magazine demo disc as a full game, and that set the fucking world on fire, bros. Like, holy shit. Imagine that it's like 1998 or 1999, and the hit game Half-Life has just released. And then, for free, if you buy a PC gaming magazine, you get a disc with a full fucking 4-hour game on it, and it's a cool fucking zombie game, which are like super fucking rad in like the late 90s, because like they are extremely novel, and people are like super into them. The Night of the Living Dead remake is fairly new at this point, and it had like a weird critical reception, so it took a while for that movie to become popular with fans, and it eventually did. Oh, and that was like around the late 90s. So zombies are super cool. Everyone loves them at this point. So getting a free game that's like a cool Half-Life game on a demo disc sets the fucking world on fire. And people can also just download it for free on some like website thing, and like, holy shit, bros. So they produce 2 sequels, because the first part that releases is just like part 1, and they make 2 sequels, I think like the same year, and it becomes known as They Hunger Trilogy. That's like a fan favorite cult classic Half-Life mod. It doesn't get any more classic than this. Everyone fucking knows it, and everyone fucking knows it because it's like super fucking cool, even compared to most mods that come out today. Their hunger is leagues beyond what we sort of like expect from mods. It is, I would say, as good as Half-Life. It has cutscenes, it has explosions, it has vehicle sections, it has like drivable trains. It's just so fucking cool, and it's so fucking fun. So it becomes like a huge fucking deal. And let me just check something. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, you see, that was a pretty cool effect, right? Like, holy shit. This is this kind of like stuff they do, right? They do environmental things like it's nobody's fucking business. So yeah, it's about 2001. Half-Life has never been more popular than it is at this point in time, right? And then I think like the biggest task that the team has like ever undertaken like becomes a thing, because in 2003 they make a multiplayer tie-in mod, Half-Life 1 standalone multiplayer mod for the fucking Underworld movie. I don't know how they got like that sorted out, but they did. And I actually remember playing that mod because it was advertised in like, I don't know, like a bunch of like magazines or whatever. Look, oh yeah, so we turned off the power. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember, I think I played it like around release, so it still had an active community, and obviously like the community disappeared, I don't know, within a couple of months. That was just how those things went back then. But it was briefly one of the most popular Half-Life multiplayer mods of all time. So yeah, that was the thing. Shit. Then the team kind of like ran into a bit of trouble because gaming was just advancing so fucking rapidly, and the expectation for what a mod should of how big of much quality a mod should was increasing rapidly because these modders were getting better and better and better, and games were getting more and more detailed and took longer and longer to make. So Neil Mankey, the founder of Black Widow Games, realized that they wouldn't be able to do these very, very quick turnovers of tie-in games. So, because some of them took only like 2 fucking weeks and the longest took 5 months. So he was like, okay, what do we do? Well, they figured we have this license to Valve's Source Engine, so maybe we should just like make a full They Hunger sequel that we sell for money. So they start doing that. And this is the remnants of the thing that we're playing. As you've probably been able to tell in the footage, there's an incredible amount of attention to detail, right? There are so many little effects, so much environmental storytelling, and they wanted to make a whole game about that. And like I hope that there's an alternate timeline where this game comes out and the crew of Black Widow Games are still at it, making games in 2022, and that they are still turning out sequels to whatever this would have been, and that this is sort of like I don't think it would have ever been a really popular big old game, because commercially released Half-Life 2 games, they rarely are that, but I do hope that there's an alternate future where they exist as a company and they can make a living making these kinds of things. And I don't know, I would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see what this could have become, because in a moment it's gonna get pretty cool. So the original They Hunger took place in the 50s as a sort of like a Romero-esque inspired calamity takes place, right? And the dead they rise, and you find yourself battling some mutated cops that are hell-bent on turning the entire world into zombies. And this one, They Hunger Lost Souls, it takes place in the 60s in Sweden. I don't know why it takes place in Sweden, but it does. And my guess is, as far as I can guess, the reason is that a lot of Half-Life modders are actually from Sweden. You probably know Cry of Fear. And I don't know, there's also like a push because like PewDiePie is from Sweden and all that. So I don't know if it's just because like they had a bunch of like Swedish assets. If you've been watching my Resident Evil Cold Blood Let's Play series, you also gotta see in one of the maps I comment that one of the pharmacies in the game is actually just like a Swedish pharmacy that exists in real life. And where the fuck was I? Yeah, so obviously I'm in a church and I'm in control. I'm just like, you know, heading through a thing. Yeah, like I really like the textures. The texture is pretty good. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, so it takes place in Sweden because a lot of modders were from Sweden, and I think that's mostly why. And also, I think that the people that made this were a little fans of Resident Evil 4. And that will make sense in a minute. And it's so fucking hilarious. Hello. Oh, you're not doing good. Ouchie. Oh, I stepped on the fire. Okay, so what is supposed to happen is that they're like gonna break in and they're gonna murder that guy. I don't know why they don't do that. Yo, there we go. Yes, 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 yes. That actually gave me a little shock, even though I knew that it was happening. Hello. Yeah, so another reason why they might have picked Sweden as a setting is that they can do like the thing they did in Resident Evil 4, where the bad guys will grumble and rumble in some kind of like strange language that no one understands, and that is what these zombies do. They say random ass bullshit in Swedish, and if you speak Swedish, like I'm sure if you speak Spanish with Resident Evil, it's fucking hilarious. Like they don't say anything hilarious, it's just funny that this grumpy, spooky zombie noises is just like Swedish. Oh yeah. We pick up a pen. Yeah, it's been 20 minutes and we are finally in a place where we get to have a little weapon. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like these zombies. They're pretty cool. It's such an interesting like setting for a hello. That's actually fucking shocked me. Hello, man. For a zombie game, right? It's a monastery, so it's secluded and it's full of cult like people, I guess. Maybe that isn't nice. I don't know. Something spooky about like monasteries out in the middle of fucking nothing, right? It's cool. Yes, we're in this monastery because we are also trying to flee the calamity. And I think like the cool thing about it taking place in Northern Europe is that it isn't too far from where Half-Life 2 proper takes place. So this could realistically kind of like be an in-universe spin-off to Half-Life. Like the Combines were just like releasing some kind of virus because they didn't want to deal with the Swedish. Goodness gracious. Hello. Oh shit! Shit. Yeah, they're also apparently headcrabs. Those are in the They Hunger universe. They are called mutated cats. That is the explanation. But as you can see, one thing Black Widow Games did incredibly well is sort of like mix these base game Half-Life 2 assets and then just put their new original creative stuff in where it made sense to put that in. And I like that very economic approach to game development where they, they only like made what they needed to make, which is obviously why they were able to put out shit so fucking fast, and I totally applaud them for doing that. I've played a little bit of this, so it is time to save scum. Oh yeah, and also because it's like unfinished, some stuff like the music, it doesn't always like super work, but so it's pretty good that I did a little quick restart. Do you have weapons? No, you don't have weapons. Can I have a weapon? I like it. It's spooky. Neil and the team, they did a good job. There we go. Thank you. Oh, there was supposed to be a fire effect there. I guess. Do I just go in church proper? That's great. No. No. Are you? No. Oh, I need to go in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm supposed to talk during that play, but I'm just like, I don't know, zoning out and enjoying the experience, I guess. Yeah, so this is the health meter. We're pretty good at health. And you can like press Q and then you can change it up and look at it. And yeah. Oh well, pretty good experience. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's like about an hour long, like the stuff that they have recreated so far. Shit. What? I don't... Nah. So Molotov cocktails, that's fun. So yeah, I'm probably gonna stop the Let's Play just around here. Because it is apparently a mod that is a lot longer than I thought it would be. And I'm probably gonna chop it into a few parts. So from all of us here at Horrified at World, take care and we'll see you next time.